Okay guys, it's the second part of our journey. It's currently 3 o'clock in the morning here in Almaty, Kazakhstan. We are now flying on Belavia, the national airline of Belarus, to Minsk, the capital city of Belarus. But we're not staying there. We've then got another flight, which you will find out about next week. So come and join me on this flight to Minsk.
So this is a departure board with our flight to Minsk, showing at 5:10 in the morning. Flight's on time, happy to say. So Almaty airport is small. I think it's fair to say it's the busiest airport in Kazakhstan with the most flights. This is the area before you check in. Public area. The airport was a lot busier than what I expected actually. I'm quite used to flying out from Astana airport, which is now Nur Sultan, and I always find that to be really quiet. But Almaty airport seems to be rather busier. I suppose there were quite a lot of international flights, all leaving at around the same time, with ours being one of them, of course, at 05:10. You can see it is really busy. So there are 7 international flights there, leaving at a similar-ish time. This area here is really cramped. Anyway, we're on the bus now, and there's a Ukraine international plane there. Which is going to Kiev, which I think leaves just before our plane. So Almaty to Kiev and Almaty to Minsk are actually very similar journeys. They're very close to each other. And I should imagine they take about the same amount of time. So Almaty is a pretty cool airport to get a flight from. You'll see why in a minute. You get a real close-up of the planes, moving planes as well. So here's ours, Belavia. The only Belavia plane presumably at Almaty airport. There's a Profit Hunter plane there, which is an Umbrella. Interesting livery. Here's our plane. Quite sort of simple design. Belavia. It's a Boeing 737-800, and look at that Turkish Airlines plane. Just going past us there. How quality is that? Anyway, we're on the plane. With it being a 737-800, it's quite a modern plane, which I'll talk about that later as we take off. There are seats near the back, which I hand-picked myself. I did the online check-in.
Уважаемые пассажиры, вітаємо вас на борті самолітної компанії Belavia. Ми виконуємо рейс у Мінськ, національний аеропорт. Для вашої безпеки та безпеки перешкоди для виходу. Размещайте свои особистые речи на полиции, побачите там перед вами. У широких кресел побыть заваренным выходом. Усі особисті речі дозволяєте заміщати тільки на багажній полиці. Звертаємо вашу увагу, що використання прийому передачі електронних прилад допускається тільки по таким режимі. Дякую за увагу. Уважаемые пассажиры, приветствую вас на борту самолета компании Belavia. Мы выполняем рейс в Минск, национальный аэропорт. Для вашей безопасности, в избежание преграды к выходу, размещайте свои вещи на багажной полке или подвесно перед вами. В рядах кресло рядом с аварийным выходом. Все личные вещи разрешается размещать только на багажной полке.
So we were given some sweets before takeoff, which a lot of these post-Soviet airlines do. So with it being a very early morning flight, it's still dark outside. And I guess this gives me an opportunity for me to talk about my experience on Belavia. this flight. So Belavia, if you don't know, is a full-service Belarusian airline, national airline of Belarus. I just felt it had a bit of a kind of cheap feel to it, even though it's full service, and you get a bit of food included and your baggage is included. There's nothing, you don't pay extra for that. But the plane itself, although modern, it felt like I was on a budget airline. I think there is business class. You can buy business class tickets, but there kind of is no business class, if you see what I mean. There wasn't even a curtain separating it. The seats were exactly the same, so it felt like a budget airline. The seats weren't the most comfortable. Legroom wasn't great. It's a bit like a budget airline, but with service included. So, bit of food, not very nice food, which you'll see shortly. Very, very, very basic. I mean, the cabin crew were all right, I suppose. Yeah, nothing wrong with the flight whatsoever. We got in on time, we left on time, I think. Just nothing to rave about. This wasn't a short flight. If I'm not mistaken, it was around 6 hours, five. I think it was 5 hours 10 minutes. So there was obviously no entertainment on board, no screens, nothing to do. Anyway, this is the food. Very random. Hummus. For some reason. Some bread roll. And a terrible hot food. It was some sort of pancake, which I just didn't touch. Didn't like the look of that. Tea. Water. Very, very basic, I would say. Inadequate, to be honest. Got light outside now. And I guess we are now approaching Minsk, which I would actually say is my favourite city in the world, with Belarus being my favourite country in the world. But frustratingly, I wasn't actually going there because I was just transiting, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video. But I did used to study Russian in Minsk. Like I say, I love Minsk, it's my favourite city in the world. I love Belarus. Not a great lover of Belavia though. It will do, but it's not going to win any awards. Not any of my awards anyway. Not that I am giving out any awards, but if I were giving out awards, Belavia wouldn't be winning any. Anyway, you're going to see Minsk International Airport shortly, kind of the runway, apron area, whatever it's called, and you're going to find it's quite monotonous. That's because Minsk Airport doesn't seem to have many international airlines. It's mainly Belavia. Looks like about 95% of the flights there are from Belavia, the national airline. So you'll like Minsk Airport if you like looking at Belavia planes. If you like a nice variety, you're in the wrong place. So that's the airport terminal.
Ласка, заставайтеся на своих местах до полного спынения самолета, пока не сгаснет светловое табло за шприц-рамени. Нагадываю вам, будьте осторожны при открытии багажных полиц и не забывайте свои речи в салоне самолета. Мы дякуем за полет с нами и сподіваємося на нові зустрічі на самолетах авіакомпанії Belavia. Дякую за увагу.
So it's a very small airport. And here we go. 1, 2, 3 so far Belavia planes. Now there is a Turkmenistan Airlines plane there. Sticks out like a sore thumb. And it's back to Belavia again. Oh, what's that little plane there? I'd like to try that. Yeah, I mean, a good flight.
Пожалуйста, не вставайте со своих мест и не открывайте багажные полки. Спасибо.
Sit down, sit down. She was telling the people to sit down. Anyway, that's the end of my flight. The end of the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Join me next week for another flight.